Hey YouTube, it's Mike White with 143 Vinyl. So I just saw a group member ask a question, and I thought, well, here's a great, source for a tutorial. And what she's asking for is how to make this look. These words, lions, 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 cheer, and then this paw print like knocked out. And I just thought, I'll do this tutorial. This is probably going to be one of my long rambling ones because I'm going to let you see all my mistakes, and I haven't brought any assets together. I'm literally just working from scratch. I'm going to be doing most of this in Inkscape, it looks like. So let's get started. So I've just popped over into Inkscape, and I'm just going to show you where to get Inkscape if you don't have it. Just go to inkscape.org. Make sure you're actually going to inkscape.org because it's free software. There's a lot of people that like to spoof free software and take advantage of its popularity. Just download it from inkscape.org. Just go hit download. And, they've got this option, current stable version, Windows installer package. I use Windows, so that's what I would get. Okay, I've been playing with some fonts, and I'm not going to obsess about the fonts. I'm probably going to use this college block font for the word lions. That's something that, is everybody's individual taste, and we can all just go get fonts that we like. Pretty confident that this font is free. Let's just look for it. College block font. Yeah, there it is on DaFont. We can download that. And then I think the other font that I'm going to use is Angelina, which is another one that's free. So just make sure you're going to reliable places. DaFont is a great place to get fonts. I like Font Space. That's another place. Just don't download fonts from websites that you don't recognize because they could have viruses. You never know. All right, here we go. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, just got a blank document here. If I look at my layers panel, I've got a layer, and I've got this one text object that apparently from my play-in got created. But now it's all empty, and I'm just choosing that college block font, and it's normal. And 200 pixels, that looks good to me. I'm just going to type lions. And again, I'm not going to obsess about the way this lays out. I'm not going to, make it perfect. I'm just going to do it. So I don't need it to be pink. I'm going to make it black. I just like to design with black because it just really helps things stand out. And I'm just going to copy it and Control-Alt-V, is that what I want for paste in place? Yep. So I just hit Control-Alt-V and moved it down. And I'm going to do Control-Alt-V again, and I'm using the Shift key and the arrow key to move it down. And that's just making it move in a, incremental fashion rather than trying to place it. And I know everything's going to be all lined up perfectly. All right, so there's my lions, lions, lions. And then I'm going to do the cheer part. So we'll just copy this again and bring it down and set it there, and then we'll change the font. So we're going to go over to text and font, and I think Angelina's right here at the top. And I don't think it's perfect, but I think that it's going to work. And so we'll just take our text tool again and click, and I'm going to highlight it and just type cheer and move that down. And I'm holding Control and using my mouse as I place this. So I'm just placing that right there. I think it was like over top. And it's a little tall, so I want to squish it. So I'm just going to grab this and pull it down. Grab that top handle and just set that like that. Okay, so now we need a paw print. And you can get a paw print from so many different places. I'm going to just show you how I look for things. I'm going to go to Public Domain Pictures and see if they've got a paw print. That's usually a starting point for me because I know all these. I trust this website, and I trust it to do, to have safe content, and I also trust it to, truly be open source or, it's content that I'm confident has been shared to the public domain. So this will work right here. I'm just going to go ahead and save that. I'll save that in my downloads folder. And I'm going to open that. You could do what I'm about to do in Photopea, but just because of my familiarity with Photoshop, I'm going to do it in Photoshop. So I just opened up Photoshop, and now I'm going to do image adjustments. Let's just try to make this black and white. There we go. I just want everything to be as dark as possible. There we go. Got a black outline. And then I'm going to export this as a PNG. And I'm going to also put that in my downloads folder. That's where I kind of put like my junk that I know I'm going to be clearing out. Awesome. And then I'm going to bring that into Inkscape. So I'm just going to drag it in. It's super big. That's okay. And just with it selected, I'm going to go to my trace bitmap, which you can find under Path Trace Bitmap. It's right there. And I'm just going to hit apply. And then I'm going to delete the image, and I'll be left with just the path. And then I'm just going to rotate it. So, to rotate in Inkscape, you just click it, click the object again to get your rotation handles up. And I'm going to try holding Control and see if nope, it's not perfect. So we'll just kind of eyeball it and get it just about right. And then I am going to hold Control, or actually, yeah, I want to hold Control and Shift to make sure it scales properly. It's scaling and respecting the aspect ratio. And then I'm just going to position it. Just kind of line it up here. And with every project, I haven't tested this. I, don't know how this is going to turn out. With every project, you're just playing and figuring out how to get it done. So let's take these objects, these text objects, and I'm going to group them. I've selected them all in my layers panel, and I'm going to hit Control G and group them. And then I'm just going to center everything up. So I'm going to my Align and Distribute panel, and I'm aligning to the page, and I'm just going to align that. And then I'll select this group, and I'll align it as well. So now I just know that I'm centered in my document. That just makes me feel organized. Awesome. Okay, so this group, I'm going to leave this text group so that I can always go back to it, because I might have some back and forth. I might try things, not what I expect, not get the results that I was hoping for, and need to back up a little bit. And so I'm just going to leave that as a backup, but I'm going to duplicate it, okay? And then I'm going to turn that one off and lock it. And that way it's in my document. I'll get rid of it later. But for now, I have this copy to work with. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm actually going to call this paw. And instead of G2, I'm going to try to teach you good practices. We'll call that text. This is a text. This is a paw copy. All right. And then I'm going to take this paw and bring it down and just turn it off and lock it so that I can always go back to it if I need to. Awesome. All right, so now this text, I just want all this to be paths so we can mess with it. So I'm just going to hit Control K, and what that did with all those selected, it just combined them all into one object. And we'll pull it out of the group. It's all just one path now, so I don't need to worry about it. So now I've got this paw and this text. Okay, so I definitely am going to have to duplicate this one more time. I'm just going to do that. And because we know we're going to have to end up with two versions of the text. We're going to have the one that has the outer, without the paw cut out, and then we're going to have the inner. So now I've got this version, and I do think I'm going to need more than one paw. Yeah, because I'm going to have to cut it out twice. So, duplicate that too. So I've got all these duplicate layers now. I'm going to take this and turn everything off besides the ones that I'm using. Like just turn off the visibility so that I've just got these two and I'm not confusing myself. And the pause above the text. I just saw that whatever, when I did that Control K, I screwed up the cheer. So you all probably saw that. I wasn't looking. I'm going to go ahead and delete these two. That's not what I want. And I'm going to take this one and duplicate it. And then I'm going to do union instead of combine. Combine is what I did. I'm going to try union. So now it's the same effect of them all being one path. Or you know what? Let's do this. Let's actually just do everything but the cheer. So here's the cheer. So I'll name that cheer. I'm going to pull that down here. And then I do want to just Control K and combine these. I don't think we'd get any different result from doing union or Control K because they're not touching. And then again, I'm going to drag this paw back up. So I know that's a lot of moving around. If you're trying to follow this, I'm sorry. You know, what I'm doing here is just kind of getting things organized. And I'm showing you my full process. I'm not, you know, recorded this in advance to make sure that things are all good. All right, so there's the cheer. I'm just going to convert that to a path 2. So that's what we want. And then I want to move it up a little bit. I'm getting distracted by the fact that it's off the letters. I think it's going to look good there. There's that paw. All right. Well, that's the design. We're not going to. We're focusing on how to do this stuff and not necessarily making a good design. All right. So we're going to take these two, and I'm just going to try these different ways to cut things out. So, you know, I mess with this all the time, and I'm always confused about what I need, and so I just try the different methods until I get what I want. I think what I want is intersection. Yup, that's what I wanted. So intersection has now, you know, selected all of this and made that part of the text that's going to be a different color. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, I'm going to back up, because I need to duplicate this, because you can see what happened there. I was left with just one object, so I'm going to do path intersection. I got a different result that time. No, I didn't. I've just got this one turned on. Awesome. All right. So this is going to be our outline text. Okay. And I know I saw there was a little gap, you know, in the original. I just want to show you how to make that. So I'm going to turn off this outline text so it's no longer confusing me. I'll just turn off the cheer for now, and I'll just turn these two layers back on. So I'm kind of back to where I started. We know we've got our outline text. I need an offset, I think is what a lot of people call it. I call it a stroke. Offset's more of like a Cricut design space term. It's a stroke, you know, that's what it is. And I'm going to turn a stroke on. So we're going to do stroke style here. I'll do stroke paint, and I'll make it something I can see. And then stroke style, we'll just bump that up because we want a little gap in between the two kinds of text that we're going to end up with. All right, so now I'm going to, with that, do path, and I'm going to do stroke to path. So that's made paw two different things here. We got path 1 and path 2. And I just want to homogenize those. So I am just going to do union. I'm going to do path union. And what that does is like where those paths intersect and where they overlap, it just eliminates those boundaries and makes them all one object. So now that I've got that, I'm going to pull it out of this little group. As you can tell, I like to keep my document organized as I work, or it just gets to be a complete mess. And I'm going to call this Big Paw, because it's just a little bit thicker because we added that stroke. So now with Big Paw and text, I don't want intersection this time. I think I want exclusion or division. Cut the bottom path into pieces. One of these is going to do exactly what I want. Let's try difference. There we go. Okay, so difference is what I want. So now I can turn my outline text in, and I see that I didn't really make enough of a gap there. So that's what I mean about backing up and trying again sometimes. So before I applied that stroke, what I need to do is make the stroke bigger before I converted that stroke to a path. So we'll go like 2.5 millimeters and just give ourselves a little more room, and then we'll do path, stroke to path. I think this is helpful just to see, you know, how this works. I mean, you kind of work your way through these things. Now we'll do union. Now I'm going to just pull this up, get rid of that group, and try that same method again. We'll do path difference, and then I'll turn my outline text on. Really still not seeing much of a difference there, so I'm not sure what's happening. Let me take a look. So that's cutting, but it's not giving me the size that I wanted. It also kind of looks like it's moved slightly. So there's something different going on here. Let's see what we can do. Let me just start over. Oh, I think I figured it out. It's because I scooted that up to get it away from the chair. So I'm just going to focus on these two things and stop screwing up, hopefully. So I'm back to like square one. I've got my paw. I've got my text. All right, so I'm just going to do path. And we're going to do that intersection first. I'm actually going to back up. I'm going to duplicate these. I just keep making that same mistake. And I'm going to do path intersection to get started. So that's got our intersected text like we had before. Oh, and I just saw something. You know, it's this little, like this little piece right there. I would probably get rid of that. You know, that's just not going to be helpful. And the way you do that is you just select it. You know, select your node editor and just delete those nodes. There's no reason to keep those little tiny bits that are just going to maybe cause a problem. Okay. All right. So this is my intersected text. All right. And I've still got my paw. I'm going to turn off the intersected text, and then I'm going to turn on my paw and turn on the text just so I can see it. Okay. And then we're going to try that stroke trick. I'm not sure why it wasn't working before. We're going to put stroke on this, and we're going to really push it up there. I'm going to try like 4. I mean, let's just put it out there. Stroke in Inkscape goes inside and outside. So like you think you're making a big difference, but really you're not, because it's just adjusting the inside and the outside. It's the overlap. And you can see that better by just changing one of these, the order, like the stroke order can be behind. All right, let's just go 3, because that 4 looks a little bit big. So I think that's the gap that I'm going to get between my intersected text and this text that we're going to call our divided text, I guess. All right, and so we're just going to try again. We're going to do path, stroke to path. And so then we're just going to take those two and do union, path, union. So that looks correct. And I'm just going to turn on my intersected text and look at that at this stage. I'm going to put that up above. Yeah, so there's my gap. So that's what I should be getting. I think I was just confusing myself before. All right, I do that a lot. So I put this intersected text back down here. And then I've got this path and this path. And I'm going to try that. What did we use? We used path exclusion. I'm trying to decide if it did what I wanted it to do or not. Ah, okay, I had one of those little experimentation moments. And this is why I stay confused about this. It was path difference, not exclusion. All right, difference. Now let's turn our intersected text. Okay, and now I kind of think the gap's too big. You know, so this is where you play. I probably needed to make it like a 2 instead of a 3 or a 1.5. But we're getting there. We're seeing the difference, you know. Let's make this intersected text a different color, just so we can see what we're up against here. All right, we got the paw chopped out. Okay, and then this text in the example just was outlines. So we're going to do that. So let's take off this fill. We'll put on a stroke. And we're going to make that stroke, just something we can see really nice. And then we are going to change this width to just bump it up a bit. And I mean, pretty much, and this is kind of how it happens, like you just find yourself done. So, here's our cheer. We'll pull that up here, put it on top of everything. And there's our paw that we don't need. So like kind of all of this, I'll just put that in there and I'll call this junk. And all of that's turned off. That's just kind of our junk, that helped us build this. And then we can change our cheer, to the same color as, well, there we go. That's how it comes together. All right, so now, but if I wanted to go print this as a DTF transfer or upload it as a DTF, I am going to convert this. I'm going to color it the way I want to, and we've seen how to do that. But I'm going to convert this, actually just trim it. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm going to do Control-Shift-R with nothing selected, and it'll trim perfectly around it. And then if I needed to export it as a PNG, I would just come over here to the export panel and change it to 3600. But you can upload SVGs. So I would really just do File, Save this as an SVG, and be done. Hey, I hope this helped. Sorry that I stumbled so much, but you got to see the whole process and how to find things and how to do it from scratch. Take care and order your transfers from 143vinyl.com.